The Courtroom, a place where justice unfolds and human nature takes center stage. Join us as we unlock the doors of the wildest reactions in court.
A Springfield man possibly facing new charges tonight after he throws urine and feces on his attorney in court.
The very first on our list is Ricky Hand. Ricky had a talent for mischief, specifically in the form of robbing convenience stores in Ohio. But little did he know, his robbing streak was about to meet its match at John's Drive. Just as Ricky was attempting to make his grand entrance, he was caught red-handed by the owner, who was armed and shot him to protect his store. With this failed robbery attempt, the owner wasted no time calling the police to report the incident.
911 emergency.
Yeah, this is John's drive-thru, West Main Street. A guy just tried to rob me and I shot him. He ran out the back door.
As the news spread, Ricky was left with some serious wounds. Eventually, he checked himself into the hospital for treatment. While Ricky was seeking medical attention, the police came in, seizing the opportunity to arrest him. Fast forward to the courtroom where Ricky faced the consequences of his criminal actions. Ricky was found guilty of not only this robbery attempt, but also for carrying out a string of robberies in the neighborhood. He was charged with a 40-year sentence. You won't believe what Ricky did next. In a shocking display of defiance, he reached into his arm sling, which concealed bottles filled with his own urine and feces. He was charged with an additional 5 counts of harassment with bodily substances. He was also charged with obstructing official business and retaliation.
Our policy dictates that there's a search prior to and a search after he leaves, and that was very apparently not done.
Next, we have Ryan Stone. He was involved in a case that will leave you astounded. His crime streak was captured live by helicopters and broadcasted for all to see. It was like watching a real-life action movie. It all began when Ryan forcefully took control of a car with an innocent 4-year-old boy inside. He then embarked on a high-speed chase that lasted over an hour, with the police in hot pursuit. He was driving at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, overtaking innocent drivers on the highway and harshly removing them from their own cars. Ryan's wild ride took a crazy turn when he abruptly left the highway and swung the car door open while racing. Chaos followed as he crashed into several vehicles. Eventually, Ryan's stolen car met its end and he attempted to flee on foot, but he was soon after caught. And to make things even worse, Ryan was caught on tape, proudly talking about his crimes to a friend who came to visit in jail.
I made the news in the UK and Australia. What? Yeah, my lawyer told me I made the news in the UK and Australia. If you type in Grand Theft Auto on YouTube, my shit comes up first.
Eventually, Stone faced 26 charges, including kidnapping and assault. Victims shared their stories, while Stone surprised everyone by crying and apologizing.
He gave me time to start a family of my own.
Despite his apology, the judge saw a pattern of criminal behavior and sentenced Stone to 160 years in prison. Next is Esteban Carpio. He was on trial for the killing of Detective Sergeant James Allen at a Providence police station in 2005. Carpio was being questioned by 2 detectives at the police headquarters. In a chilling turn of events, one detective left the room briefly, only to return to a nightmare. He heard the second detective's terrified words, "I think he's going to kill me, he's got my gun."
By the time they broke it down, the officer was dying and Carpio had jumped out the window.
In a desperate bid for freedom, Carpio made a daring escape, leaping out of a window. However, his freedom was short-lived, as he was recaptured by the police just minutes later. When it was time for Carpio's sentencing, he showed up in court wearing a mask. This mask was designed to keep him from spitting or biting others. Despite the mask hiding most of his face, you could see that his face was red and bruised. Carpio's family accused the police of brutality, believing that his injuries were a result of a hidden revenge beating.
Step off, step off.
Not guilty! Tell him not guilty! Tell him not guilty, Steven!
But Police Chief Dean Esserman argued that the injuries were sustained during Carpio's escape and resistance to arrest. Fast forward to the day of Carpio's sentencing. Carpio started to show emotion and decided to pull out all the stops to win over the jury. He embarked on a heartfelt apology tour and claimed mental illness at the time of the crime, but the court didn't buy his claims. Despite his plea of insanity, Carpio was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Getting on to the second last, Adrian Dunn. Adrian, an ex-convict, was on trial for a murder that shook the city of San Antonio. There was a drug deal that had gone terribly wrong. Adrian allegedly shot Rakeem Tariq Charles in the back. Fast forward to the trial, where prosecutor Jason Goss had a tough job ahead. He urged the jury to consider Adrian's extensive criminal history and complete lack of remorse. Adrian's attorney, on the other hand, suggested a sentence of 35 to 40 years and had the audacity to say the following.
Don't give Adrian a chance to go into prison and try to make something of himself so that when he gets out, if he ever gets out, he can try to be an asset to our community.
After just 2 hours of deliberation, the jury emerged with their decision. He was sentenced to life in prison. Remember the phrase, going out with a bang? Well, Adrian took it quite literally. As the sentence was read out, he started using a lot of bad words all at once and engaging in a battle with the sheriff's deputies. Eventually, the chaos was brought under control, and Adrian was escorted out of the courtroom. Lastly, meet Williams Franklin, a convicted armed robber who thought he could outsmart the system. After cutting his ankle bracelet and mysteriously turning up in Nebraska, he conveniently claimed amnesia. The prosecutors, however, had something else on their minds. They used Williams' own phone calls with his relatives to expose his little game. Turns out, he was using his phone to research how to beat a criminal case. Williams argued that he didn't fully understand his guilty plea because his attorney misled him about an early release. The appeals court actually sided with him, granting him a second trial. But little did he know, he was about to face a judge who wasn't going to tolerate any nonsense.
You're not letting me tell you what's going on.
Take your life for what? What do you mean?
It's not fair. You're trying to take my life.
What does that mean?
And on the document.
Again, I'm going to interrupt. Mr. Williams, listen to me. I'm going to gag you in 1 second, so just listen to me. Zip it.
Judge John Russo was losing his patience with this talkative convict. Williams started to complain about authorities removing his possessions from his cell, but this judge had a unique solution for Williams's non-stop outbursts. As he continuously interrupted the judge while hearing, he was ordered to put a piece of red duct tape across his mouth, but Williams continued to speak, even with the tape firmly in place. The judge's patience was pushed to the limit, and Williams was ordered to put a second piece of tape on his mouth.
You know, let's say 14 years of being a judge, and I've never had to take the extreme that I have. So
he was sentenced to 24 years in prison. The courtroom is not just a place for dull legal procedures and serious faces. It's a battleground of wit, drama, and unexpected twists. What do you think of the convicts in this video? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Press the bell icon and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.